And we're live. Dun, 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 dun,
All right.
dun.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. How's it going, Eric?
Yeah, it's going good.
Cool.
How's your day going?
It's going good. It's going good. I
Good.
just realized while I was going to the bathroom before we went live that so I was like up all night last night peeing because I had all sorts of crazy stuff going on yesterday, and so I didn't drink my water as diligently as I normally do. And I realized that I'm on day 30 because I restarted 75 hard on the first of the year and started the Get Shit Done show on the first of the year, right? And so I'm on
Right.
day 37 of both the Get Shit Done show and 75 hard at the same time, which is kind of funny. So I guess that's my positive focus. I'm pretty stoked that I'm succeeding at 75 hard again, and that there's this added streak of an hour long episode every day of the Get Shit Done show. Like, it doesn't have to be an hour long, but they usually are, So
Hmm.
I think that's what I'm excited about. And as just showing you earlier is whiteout conditions. We've got a snowstorm coming in. It's probably a little too bright to
Just
see.
looks white. Yeah.
Um, a snowstorm coming in. We have about 5 inches or so that's going to come in today. I believe that all the schools are canceled, and so yeah, we're having a day long snowstorm up here. So hopefully we'll maintain power and internet for the whole show, but who knows? Anything can happen in a snowstorm.
Right. Wow.
Cool.
Cool.
How's Texas today?
It's good. It's been really warm out here. It's been, in the 70s, upper 70s some days, which has been
No more snow.
quite nice. Now the snow's gone. Yeah,
Shockingly enough.
I
No,
know.
I've been very, very pleased this winter. It's been a cold and fairly snowy winter, which is
Yep.
how it's supposed to be in Vermont. And so
Right.
I love the winter. So I'm glad that we're getting some snow and some cold. Makes me feel alive.
Cool.
I
Yeah,
love it.
that's great.
I love it. So yeah, what's your positive focus?
My positive focus is diving into a new training that I'm really excited about.
Oh yeah,
And,
so not too long ago, I interviewed Kevin Nations
oh, you did?
on the Tellman and Thelman show. So he and I
Oh,
are in
cool.
active contact. So
Yep.
like, you should talk about it.
Yeah. So I am taking this course, this training on the rapid sales technique with Kevin Nations, who's sharing his wisdom on this. And it's awesome. I'm really engaged with it. And something that I notice about it. Okay. So when I am exposed to really effective marketing, I notice there's this, it's like that, it triggers that emotional buying instinct where it's like, it's on a subconscious level where it's like this trigger, like this switch that gets switched on where it gives you this instinct that you want to take some sort of action, and like you'd be missing out if you didn't buy whatever it is that they're pitching to you. And what I'm noticing while I'm listening, like watching this training and putting myself in the perspective of like a sales call. I mean, so the training is specifically geared towards high ticket sales calls. And I'm putting myself in the perspective of what it would be like to be on that sales call. And I noticed within myself that switch getting switched on. So I'm like, that's interesting. And
Do you feel like you want to buy something while you're learning about the sales process?
right. And they're not even selling anything.
That's really interesting. Huh.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And yeah, so I feel really excited to be learning this stuff. It's like to be able to trigger that subconscious buying instinct seems like a
No,
really a powerful skill to learn.
it is. It is.
Yep.
Yeah, very much. Very much. I mean, one of the most classic, overused, yet, seemingly true ideas or phrases is that we all buy first on emotion
Mm-hmm.
and then justify with logic, right?
Right. Yep.
After the fact, like
Mm-hmm.
we find logical, rational reasons for us to justify our buying decisions, right?
Right.
That are usually acting on an emotional impulse,
Yep.
right? So interesting that you're self-aware around that feeling enough. I don't know that I'm even self-aware around that feeling enough to notice that coming up while you're going through the sales training.
Okay.
So that's sweet. Yeah, I mean, no, Kevin is absolutely brilliant, and he's in no way, shape, or form the first person to teach high ticket sales, but his process really it really infiltrated. I don't know. It became pervasive as the underlying process underneath so many of the um, high ticket sales models that are used today, right? And
Cool.
so
Right. Yep.
yeah, it's very cool stuff. It's very cool stuff. So I'm glad you're going through that. I think you're going to find your sales will probably increase, and the more you take sales training like that, like the more confident you feel around your own skills and abilities because you've learned more.
Right. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
very cool, very cool. So let's see. Yesterday was a big day. Yesterday we had Angel on for episode 36, which was fantastic. And then we did a Get Shit Done webinar. I guess technically the first Get Shit Done webinar. We did a productivity webinar yesterday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and we had some really interesting things that happened with said webinar, right? So, first of all, we had a very, very high percentage show up rate. So we invited people from the email list, and we invited people from my email list, and we invited people from the school community for Get Shit Done, and we invited people mostly from Facebook and the Get Shit Done Facebook group, right? So I invited people for 2 days. I put the webinar registration page together only 2 days before the webinar happened. We really just had I think I put it together maybe even Tuesday morning. I don't know. So Tuesday and Wednesday to promote it. So it was a very short term promotion. And we had a 50% show up rate, which is astonishingly high. The idea behind the webinar was how to get more done in the next 90 days than you did last year. We're going to triple your productivity. And we're going to do a live group hypnosis session where you're going to experience hypnosis for yourself. And we're going to hypnotize you to get more shit done. We're going to hypnotize you to be more productive, more focused, increased follow through, increased action taking, increased focus on doing the important actions that you need to take in order to move yourself forward in the direction of your goals or the project that you're working on. And so we had a super high attendance rate, which was great. We had, well, actually, before I keep spouting off things, Eric, you were there for the whole time. What was your experience like of the webinar?
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved seeing how engaged everybody was who came and attended. Everybody seemed really enthusiastic and engaging in the chat and asking lots of questions. And I think everybody stayed till the end. Not
Yeah,
only did everybody stay till the end, but multiple people were requesting a replay.
right, because they wanted to go through the hypnosis session again.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool. It was 50% attendance rate. Everybody stayed until the end, and everybody stayed through the pitch because there was
Yep.
absolutely a pitch at the end, and I told everybody that there was going to be a pitch at the beginning. And so um, it was I felt that it was, and I think I haven't done a webinar in a year, honestly, maybe
Hmm.
longer. I'd have to look back in, since I've done an actual like live sales webinar, right? But the big difference is that it wasn't a educational webinar. I didn't teach them how to do something. I gave them something great that they wanted, right? Which is a
Right.
hypnosis session to increase their productivity so that they could
Yep.
remove resistance and get more stuff done. So, um, did you have any noticeable after effects of the session?
Um,
Like what like were you did you find after the set after we were done that you were just like, oh, and you were able to relax for the night, or did you find that you were super motivated, or did you find that like
I found myself in a pretty relaxed state for most of the rest of the day.
cool?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
were you getting stuff done, or were you like just kind of chilling, or what? I mean,
Um,
because it was in the afternoon. It was from 4 Eastern to 5:30, and after
right.
that, I was wrapping up as soon as possible, and
Yeah, I
doing
had kind of
things.
a interesting flow yesterday where I was having trouble getting, I don't know, it was just like a my schedule was kind of not super dialed in.
Yeah,
And yeah, so I was having trouble like finding pockets of time to get the stuff done that I needed to get done.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, it is hard to do that, especially when you have like a live event coming up, especially when it's
Mhm.
one of your first ones,
Yep.
and because that is a schedule disruptor unless it's a regular part of your schedule, right?
Right. Yep.
And not only is it a schedule disruptor, but there's something special happening today. And
Exactly.
that takes your mental and your emotional focus away from your whatever the other stuff is that you're working on pretty easily,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I spent some time diving into the Kevin Nations training. Okay, so here's something I did notice during the training. I felt especially focused and I
You
was
know what,
able to
dude?
be extremely present and take very good notes. I
You
mean, I
took
sent
extensive notes. You sent me the Google Doc, and like
right,
you did over the top notes, like
right.
like that was definitely better than any notes I've taken on that.
Okay, cool.
Like it was very
Yeah,
detailed, right? So you were, I mean, and normally you don't even type as many notes. You normally prefer to write them down by hand, right? So like
right, which are super messy and sloppy and
not
kind of
duplicatable,
scattered.
yeah,
Right,
hard to
exactly.
share with anyone. Yep,
Yep. So yeah, I feel like it gave me like increased mental clarity and focus.
cool,
Yep.
cool. Awesome, guys. If you want an invitation to our next mindset webinar for entrepreneurs, we're going to be doing some webinars on focus. We're going to on overcoming procrastination, on increasing your follow through, on improving your ability to take action, stay consistent, overcome overwhelm. So if you would like any particular topics, please let us know in the comments. And if you want an invite to our next webinar, just type webinar into the comments, and we'll send you an invite via DM on whatever platform you're tuning in on. The other thing you can do is you can go join the Get Shit Done community at getshitdone.com, and we are going to we of course let our Get Shit Done community know about all of our special events and trainings and all the other cool things that are coming up. So I'm really looking forward to doing a lot more hypno webinars this year and
Cool.
exposing people to the amazing power of their mind through hypnosis, and giving people that experience, allowing people to experience it for themselves, to see the after effects for themselves, and then in most cases want more because it is so powerful. It makes such a big difference in so many cases. So doing these kind of live demonstration type webinars, whether it be a live stream or in webinar format, is a great way of connecting with people and giving people a firsthand experience of what it's like. Because most people have never been hypnotized before. Most people are skeptical about hypnosis. Most people think hypnosis is weird. Most people don't think they can be hypnotized. And maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. Come check it out. See for yourself. See what you think. And so, yeah, really, really cool stuff. So I love that. Um, when so we're definitely doing more webinars in the future. So stay tuned.
Awesome. Yep.
It should be great. And then Not only that, but we had, let's see, 20, I guess we had 20% of the attendees purchased. So 20% of the attendees went ahead and booked a private hypnosis session with me, at name your own price. And so one thing that I've been doing here and there, I've been running some specials of a name your own price or pay what it's worth to you um, hypnosis session. And what I did is I set up a domain for that. And so if you want to book a private one-on-one Zoom hypnosis session with me, we can focus on any topic you want. Most of my clients like to focus on money mindset, entrepreneurial expansion in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's increasing your money thermostat, enhancing, elevating your default setting for your standard of living and your income, increasing, improving your ability to sell one-on-one, one-to-many, increasing, enhancing your copywriting and creative copywriting abilities, improving your ability to stay more consistent doing the things that you either aren't doing or are doing intermittently and sporadically, doing them more consistently in your business to create more consistent revenue, right? There's a never-ending journey that you can go on in terms of skills that we can enhance, skills that you can improve, things that you can start doing or do better with peak performance hypnosis. And so that's what we focus on. Though I've also had some weight loss clients in the last couple months. I've had some clients who've been focused on attracting a partner or spouse, right? Moving into start dating again in many cases, right? And just kind of shifting gears in life and focusing on that. But most of my clients are entrepreneurs who want to make more money, want to get over whatever financial money blocks are standing in their way and start doing the things on a regular basis that are actually going to increase their income and grow their business. So if that sounds like you, I have a new model that I'm working on where I'm only working with one client, one session per day, 5 days a week. And so what that means is one client a day, Monday through Friday. I'm not accepting more clients than that. And so people initially book for one session so that they can, we can all feel it out and make sure we like working together. And then after that, if you decide to work together long term, we'll book those in advance, and those will take up my daily sessions. So it's probably going to be a very quickly shrinking calendar. Right now, I still have some spots on my calendar in the next couple of weeks. When the calendar spots get filled, you won't be able to book another session. So if you want to book a session, you want to work together, now's the time. There are some spots available. Again, it's you decide what the session is worth to you. You decide the change that you want to make and what it's worth that you want to invest in yourself to create that change. And that investment that you make in yourself is the most important part of the buying process when you decide to use hypnosis, is both financially and just in your level of personal commitment. Like, what level of commitment are you making to yourself to make that change? That probably is the single most influential factor here. So do what makes the most sense, but at the same time, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. One of the most common reasons that people say, "Oh, Tellman, I'm not going to sign up for a session," is they say, "I want to pay you what you're worth and I don't want to offend you. So I'm not going to sign up for a session and change my life, even though you're offering name your own price." So I encourage you to name your own price, invest in yourself, do what you can, stretch yourself a little bit, but don't worry about insulting me. Focus on investing in yourself to the highest and greatest degree that you can, and working on a topic that's really going to make a difference for you. Right? So workwithtellman.com if you're interested in such things. So yeah, very successful webinar last night. Really good. Looking forward to doing a lot more. Eric, you were interested in lead generation. 2 episodes ago, we had a discussion about finding your perfect prospect. Who are you going to help? How are you going to help them? What are you going to help them with? Right.
Right, right.
And I'm curious about in the last 2 days, um, where you are currently with identifying your ideal prospect, your perfect customer or client. Who do you think it is?
I mean, so far what I've got is it's somebody that they have an income source, but it's keeping them doing something that they don't really want to spend all their time doing. And they're wanting to create more freedom and flexibility in their life and be able to work from home and be around their family more and have the ability to travel, have the ability to work towards whatever big goals they have for the future, whether that's, owning a home, buying land, traveling, that kind of thing. And I feel like there's so much more I could dial it in with. And yeah, I'm just working to get more clarity on that. I have reached out to some of the leaders in the company I'm working with, and so far haven't heard back from any of them. Yeah, I asked them, what they look for in their ideal clients and if there's any common character traits that they notice in the people that they work with and the people that really crush it in their teams.
Great.
Yep.
So here's something that you can do
Hmm.
that's along those lines of what you're already doing. And we talked a little bit about this, but you can go deeper with it, which is I'd like you to imagine the leaders
Yep.
in Kagan right now. Okay. You want to, and this is where the interview process comes in, but you want to find out their origin story. You want to find out their backstory. And so this is actually really interesting.
Right. I know a lot of their backstories.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, if that's the case,
Hmm.
you want to know even more about their back. You want even more details. But,
Okay.
but based on what you know, like when you say there are some leaders that you reached out to, how many?
Um, not so many yet.
Well, whatever. How many?
A couple, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So how many are there that you could reach out to that realistically you have an ability to reach out to them? You could call them, or you could email them, or you could message them.
Yeah, probably at least a dozen or more.
Is there a Kangen central portal that you log into?
There is, yeah, there's a Facebook community. I'm sure I could find dozens more in that community.
Okay. So
Yep.
here's you want to find people that are leaders and have been consistently doing well. That doesn't mean only focus on people. Like I don't know how big the Kangen opportunity can get. I don't know how much money the top 10 people who aren't the founders make or whatever, or can make. But
Right. I mean, it's multiple seven figures is what they're making.
okay, great. So
Yeah.
let's say $1 million or more a year. Okay, so it
Hmm.
is possible for a normal person who, if they learn it and they work it and they do it, and it is possible to make $1 million or more a year in Kangen.
Yep.
Okay, good. So as far as you can see, right?
Hmm.
So I'd like you to imagine that your perfect customer, your perfect prospect, is the leaders. Those are your customers.
Okay.
10 years ago.
Well, a common theme I see in yeah, right off the bat, the leaders that I can think of right off the bat all came from a really tough spot in life. They were struggling. One of them, was in and out of prison, had an abusive family growing up, was broke. Another woman, she was like $50,000 in credit card debt and was like single mother. And so they were in tough spots that they were really determined to overcome and do something about.
Okay. So there are two factors there.
Okay.
One is that people that are sales leaders in these types of situations, who speak from stage and who get on video,
Yep.
learn how to tell their dark story.
Mm-hmm.
They are not entirely dark, but they learn how to talk about the downsides and the upsides, the light and the dark. They learn how to tell a good story.
Yep.
And just because someone came from a hard situation doesn't necessarily mean that you're looking for people who are having really hard situations.
Yeah, I agree, because a lot of people are stuck in that.
But what it does mean is that they were hungry
Mm-hmm.
and determined to change,
Exactly.
right? And make a better life for themselves,
Yep.
right? Regardless of their situation.
Yeah.
And to some degree, desperate for change
Mm-hmm.
when they found the opportunity. They were willing to do whatever it took, and Kangen was a glass of water was put in front of them, and they drank it.
Right.
That's actually a pretty good image. Like,
It is.
they were hungry, they were desperate, they were ready for a change, they were determined, and someone handed them the best glass of water that ever tasted.
Yeah.
But at the same time, right? So okay. So one thing that they have in common is that they all have some form of a rags to riches story.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of them. Yep.
Okay. What else? What else do they have in common? And they don't
Let's see.
all have to have this in common. Just
All right. Well,
right?
yeah, there's one guy, he had a background in sales, not high ticket sales, but he was like a door-to-door salesman, like selling vacuum cleaners. And he just got really good at getting the door slammed in his face and told to like,
Well,
get, get the hell out of here. And yeah, he grew a thick skin with that. And when he started working with online sales, he had already experienced the like physical rejection of literally having doors slammed in his face and people getting like aggressive with him in person, to where, doing something like getting online rejection is, I mean, it's pretty, yeah, right. So he was able to build an enormous team and has, yeah, built tremendous success with the opportunity.
Good. So
Yep.
second, so that's a very good observation. It's also, you just said yourself, just one guy. So I'd like you to look beyond the one guy.
Mm-hmm.
Do the leaders have a background in sales before they come to Kangen? Ask them.
Right. Okay.
Ask them.
Yep.
You will find that the answer in many cases is yes. I predict. So you found something interesting. It's with one guy, but I believe, at least with my experience, is that many of the leaders in internet marketing, in any type, in public speaking, and in network marketing, as well as real estate, very, very often have had previous jobs in difficult sales positions that are emotionally and like difficult, physically difficult, that suck, that are not fun, where you have to develop thick skin and you have to learn how to be comfortable with yourself regardless of how everyone else is reacting, right? Where you have to be like the calm, stable person in the room while everybody else is losing their crap. Like that's just the deal, right? So an opportunity for you here is for you to focus on burnt out sales guys, like on
Okay.
salespeople who are tired of making the sale, making the commission, and then having to start again tomorrow, start again tomorrow, start again tomorrow. Wouldn't you like to stack that up, not constantly be under the thumb, like, and actually build some long-term residual revenue? Okay,
Right.
you already know how to sell. You're halfway there. Now let's plug you into a system that's going to work better. And so you can find salespeople everywhere, dude.
True.
Like you can recruit. So I used to love going to restaurants and recruiting wait staff to work either as salespeople or customer support people part time, from home, where I could pay them more than they can at the restaurant, but I already know they have great people skills,
Right.
right?
Cool. Yep.
So you can find A players, like you can find ideal candidates everywhere you go. They're everywhere if you know what to look for. And so
True.
somebody who's
Okay. Right.
hungry for change,
Hmm.
okay, someone with a sales background, like door to door is ideal, right?
Yep.
Um, and then you can. There are tons of places where salespeople hang out, online and go and courses that people take and all these things. So like, by the way, like again, getting involved in BNI is an example of
Right.
sale. It's referrals, right? It's not quite like sales, but the process of pitching your business every week, and doing the 60-second pitch and the whole thing is similar to sales. But another thing that you could totally do is go and like take a part-time sales job wherever you live, and for the purpose of developing the skills, just personally, like when I'm talking about becoming the person that you want to attract,
Right. Right.
right? Like go see what sales jobs there are and be like, hey, I'm Eric. I want to get better at sales. I have a little bit of experience with it, but I want to get better. I saw the ad in the paper or whatever.
Right.
And like see what you like go on an exploration, see what you can learn, you know.
Okay.
I mean maybe, but
Yeah.
it's a path that you totally could go down that would
True.
give you some good stories to tell and probably make you some money along the way. And I guess we're doing that with Get Shit Done too, right?
True. Yeah. I was just thinking.
Yeah. But any other patterns that you see among leaders in Kangen that you've been exposed to so far?
Um, there seems to be a lot of single mothers in Kangen that they needed to figure out a way they could make good money from
And
home
raise the
and
kid. Yeah.
and raise their kids and not have to put their kids off to daycare every single day and not really be involved in their life. So yeah, that's a very common theme. I mean,
How do
so many.
single moms build a Kangen business in your experience? Like what are the stories that you've heard? How do they is it face to face selling?
Um, I, I
Like
think they're mostly like social media marketing is what they're doing.
that totally makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Um
I mean, it's a huge demographic. There's so many people in that situation. And when they see somebody that's also in that situation but has a solution for that, it's an attractive force that really calls out those people and they seem to grow pretty quickly, a lot of them.
there is a project I was working on a little while ago that a couple of years ago that never quite blossomed.
Yep.
But the idea is like single mom side hustle, like side hustles for single moms,
Right.
right? Like um uh and what if it seems like it'd be a weird thing for a dude to do, but like whatever. Like, what if you started a community for single moms and you interviewed single mom? You're like, look, I realize I'm a guy. I know this is a little weird, but I realized that, I'm a network marketer. I do these Kangen water ionizers, and I realized that most of the most successful leaders in Kangen were single mothers, and they were hungry for a change. They needed something they could do part-time that would give them residual that would build up over time. They need flexibility of schedule so that they can raise their child or children, and they're hard workers, and they have a reason. They're supporting more than just themselves. They're motivated. And so if that sounds like you, if you're a single mom, you're a hard worker, you're responsible for more than just yourself, and you need something that can grow over time, and you're not afraid of putting in the time, effort, energy, and money in order to really establish something cool, then we might have something for you here, right? And so what I focus on is interviewing all of the super successful women in Kangen on how they did it. True stories.
Right.
Like,
yeah, I mean, it's an
inspiring
idea.
about
I
it.
guess what
Like,
comes up for me is like, does it make sense to focus on a niche that I'm not like it's not who I am?
right. Well, weirder things have happened.
Sure, that's true. Yep.
But I mean, that's why we're having the conversation.
Yep.
You know,
Hmm.
there, there are certainly plenty of people who have businesses that serve people that are radically different than them.
Yeah, no, that's
And,
true. Yep.
and you could even go so far as to say, look at most businesses. Do most businesses even really have a niche? How about your tire replacement, oil change, auto repair shop? Do you really have a niche? Automobile owners? It's
Right.
everyone, right? Like,
Yeah.
how about grocery stores? Well, I mean, I know that, like, health food stores and Whole Foods and food co-ops certainly have a more defined niche, but like regular grocery stores is like everybody. So there is a certain, who, and like, who owns Hannaford's? I have no idea, but
Right. I mean, I guess that's the difference between, personal branding and like having a commodity for sale.
right. Well, you can also use it. So look, maybe you do something different. This is just an exploration of thought,
Yep.
but maybe your focus is, I mean, the fact that you're very clearly not a single mother
Right.
is a point of interest, right? It's just kind of like, wait a second, what's going? Like I can imagine you. It's like, you, you show up with like one of those like workout headbands, like Richard Simmons style. It's like single moms unite across your forehead. Complete ridiculousness, like complete ridiculous. But like, you creating, because you saw the need, you creating a safe place for single moms to build a stable long-term business, um, and telling your story about how you realized that when you looked at all the biggest leaders in Kangen, and you were like, oh, well, maybe I should create a place to really celebrate these women.
Right.
Like,
I mean, network marketing in general it's predominantly women who
right.
are doing this. There's some men, and yeah, there's definitely some men who are crushing it and top leaders, but yeah, it's predominantly women.
Well, then, I mean, again, go ahead and look at TJ and Fernie with attraction marketing.
True.
If
Yep.
that's
Uh-huh.
predominantly women, they're not women,
That's true. Yep.
right? So, okay, well, so some of the things that you've identified is that, um, the leaders at some point had a very low point that they were motivated and desperate to get out of.
Yep.
You've also realized that they were hungry. and that they were they really wanted to make a positive change and shift in their life and presumably their financial situation. Many of them are women and are moms, are single moms at that, which amplifies the motivation and the sense of drive and commitment to making a change. Right?
Right.
So, okay, any other patterns that you see right now?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the biggest common theme between all of them is that underlying drive to create a lot of change in their life. That seems to be the most universal one.
So then the question becomes, where does that drive come from, or how can you identify that drive in a prospect?
Right. Okay.
Right? Especially because, and I would go so far as to suggest the way that you can identify it
Mm-hmm.
is by the people that you're talking to having an impressive backstory that doesn't sound like they're full of crap.
Right.
So, what have you accomplished of significance in your life so far? Because drive, in my experience, is something that like drive is like the it's like when an inspired idea meets action. So there are lots of people with inspired ideas and ideals and things they want to achieve, but for whatever series of reasons, they never pull the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
They never do the things. But when someone has drive, I would go so far as to say they do the things. Right? They're not just
Right.
creative, they're not just motivated, but they take action on their ideas.
Right. Right.
And I think that has to come first. That's not something that's just going to magically show up one day if it's
True.
never been there for someone. And so when you talk to someone, ask them what they've accomplished. That's like, this is something to talk about in your Facebook group. Like, what have you, as a matter of fact, to our viewers right now, very curious, what are some of the cool things that you've accomplished in your life, all the way back to grade school? Like this, we're not talking about how old you were.
Right.
Any age, anything cool that you think is particularly interesting, extraordinary, powerful, meaningful for you. What are some of the cool things that you've accomplished? Okay, so having that sense of drive, you can find by talking to people, and like you can build that right into your webinars. Is like, I'm looking for people with drive. You have drive if
Right. Right.
if you don't have any drive, I'm sorry, but you're not right for our group. Right? So
Yeah.
drive, agreed. Okay. So I would encourage you to, again, go deeper with the backstories with interviewing as many of the leaders as possible to
Okay.
create really good videos for your Facebook group. Okay. And I would also go inside the Kangen Facebook group or any other or any other forum or community structures that are out there, and ask some simple questions like, what are the patterns that you see among the leaders in Kangen? What are the personality traits? What are the similarities that you see among the leaders in Kangen? You could say, "Hi, I've been in Kangen for 5 years, and I'm doing some research. I'm very curious about your opinion."
Right.
And ask one of these open-ended questions. Word it better than I just worded it. We can
Right. Okay. Mm-hmm.
work on that, clean it up. But
Yep.
Like do one of those open-ended questions in the Kagan Facebook group or Kangen Facebook group and ask the community what patterns they see, because they might see patterns that you're completely overlooking.
True. Yeah. No, that's a good
Right?
idea. I like that.
And so when we're talking about these patterns, what we're talking about is like the underlying personality traits, background traits, demographic traits that the most successful people in Kangen tend to have. And so those are now things that you want to focus on developing in yourself, and they're things that you want to focus on finding people who have as many of them as possible. So now,
Right. Okay. Here's something that I noticed that they all seem to embody is they're all constantly working on themselves. They're constantly stepping out of their comfort zone, even at the really high level where they're operating. They're having to do new and bigger things that are even further out of their comfort zone. And it's like constantly expanding, where, maybe at first it was like going live, doing live streams was scary, and then they had to start speaking on stages, and then the audiences got larger, and then some of them had to start speaking in front of thousands of people, and it was scary all over again. And yeah, that's something I noticed with them, is they're constantly just expanding and stepping out of their comfort zone.
dude, so I want you to write these down right now.
Okay.
Super important, because we're getting some really good stuff.
Yep.
And so constantly stepping outside or pushing their comfort zone is the most recent one. Okay. So
Yep.
far is they are hungry and or desperate for a change.
Yep.
They want to improve their situation. Many of them are single mothers, so they are responsible for more than just themselves.
Okay. Yep.
They need a flexible schedule. They want something that's going to pay better than just working by the hour, and that can develop and build a greater income over time. They're willing to invest time and money in building a business that will serve them in the long term.
Yep.
And they're um, they have drive,
Hmm.
and they probably have stories from their life of being driven and having significant accomplishments in the past. And they regularly push themselves outside of their comfort zone.
Right.
Okay. Now
Yep.
that's like 6 points or something like that.
Yeah. Several.
Okay.
Yep.
Now watch this.
Okay.
Now, this is where it gets good, dude. So let's say you interview half a dozen or a dozen Kangen leaders,
Hmm.
and you get some video clips of them saying cool stuff about these points, about themselves, and their stories, and you cut those video clips into your webinar. Or you get a few of them to appear, like maybe all 6 of them to appear as special guests on a webinar, and they say these things live during the webinar as a panel.
Right.
Okay. Or both. And you could do all sorts, but one way or the other, you get people who are leaders in Kangen to relay their aspects of their story that relate back to these points of patterns that we're drawing out of you right here. Okay. This now is your webinar. And the topic could be something along the lines of, what does it take to be a 7-figure earner in Kangen? right? Or what does it take?
Yep.
Like what are the key characteristics of all of the Kangen leaders, the super successful in Kangen? What sets them apart? What makes them different? That's the topic of the webinar. What makes a Kangen leader super successful, right? I would be careful about like claiming anything around 7 figures or anything. The FTC is crazy right now.
Okay.
But like basically a webinar that's all about the characteristics and traits that you've noticed and you've seen that create a wildly successful Kangen leader. Okay. And so during the webinar, you could be like, hi, my name's Eric Oliver. I've been in Kangen for blah, 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 blah. And I decided that I wanted to be more successful. I decided that I wanted to make more money. I decided that I wanted to grow an amazing team. And I realized that my focus had been all over the place. And so I decided to bring it on home and get to know all of the biggest names and biggest leaders in Kangen who would return my phone calls. And so I did. I did just that. And over the last month or two, I've interviewed all these people, and it's been really cool. And what I've learned is I've seen some patterns that come up time and time and time again with the majority of these super successful Kangen distributors that I've interviewed. And I realized that I was a little deficient in some of these skills myself, and I needed to work on them. And so today I'm going to be sharing with you the top 6 characteristic traits and skills that I found that are present in every single one of the Kangen leaders that I've interviewed, and how I am strengthening these characteristics and strengths in myself, right? And so now people are opting into your webinar about how to be a successful network marketer, or what it takes to be a super successful network marketer, or what it takes to be a super successful Kangen distributor, right? Or what it takes to be super successful with Kangen,
Right. Yep.
And it's a real story because they're all your observations. Like I've been asking you questions, but you provided all the content, and because I don't know any of the Kangen people,
Right. Okay.
and so when you think about like the points that you're going to cover in the webinar, the 3 to 5 content topics or whatever, these are the 3 to 5 content topics. These are the points. And because you've already spent the last 30 to 45 minutes in the webinar talking about all these points, maybe bringing on experts to talk, maybe splicing in a couple of their videos and playing it for the webinar that you recorded previously with them or something like that. At the end, you're going to be like, so if you want to be super successful in Kangen, these are exactly the characteristics and traits that I focus on teaching you how to become better at in our group and with my team. So if this sounds like you and you want to get better, you have some of these and you want to get better at all of them, then you'd fit right in with our team. And you can apply for a call and go to talktoeric.com, and we'll get on the phone and see if you'd be a good team member for us.
Right. Yeah, I like that.
And like you've already done the entire filtration process in the webinar by talking about the real personality characteristics and traits that the most successful Kangen leaders have. So, and I would even go so far as to like list those character traits in bullet points on your registration page, right? So like people that already resonate with those topics are going to be interested, right? So it's just kind of like self-selection. You're getting people to be like, oh, I'm confident, of course confidence is important. Of course I want to improve my drive, and I am driven and I want to be more driven, yes, I'm responsible for more than just myself. I have a partner, I have kids, that I'm taking care of, and so on. And so, yeah, that could be an amazing way for you to essentially start attracting leaders.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Instead of just whoever's.
Yep.
Right.
One question. So if I were to do a webinar like that, so typically how Kangen webinars that I've seen and the ones I've created, it's they're primarily focused on product and opportunity. Like first segment is all about the actual Kangen machine. Second part is all about the compensation plan. And I'm wondering if, okay, so if I'm talking specifically just about character traits of leaders as like the main body of the webinar, do I even go into a comp plan training and like talk about the product, or how does that work?
I don't know. I mean, we can talk about it in a second. We have
Yeah.
Rose Marie says, I was 45. 40 years ago, I was a single mom starting my business and still do so broad of my work, Rose. So it sounds like we're it sounds like we're talking to someone who was the exact demographic that we're talking about, you know. So that's very
Cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for chiming
Hmm.
in. And Liz
Yeah.
Fuller says good material. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest you do your Pure Path pitch right now, and I will be right back.
Okay. So I created this Facebook group, Pure Path to Prosperity, where we're talking about network marketing, specifically with the Kangen water opportunity that I've been working with for the past 5 years. And this is an incredible opportunity if you're somebody with a lot of drive, you're in a situation in your life where you really want to create significant change. You want to create more freedom and flexibility in your life, have the ability to work from home, be around your family more, around your partner, your children, and maybe you want to go and travel. You can do this from anywhere. It's not location specific. It's a global opportunity. We've got headquarters all over the world in, I think, 42 different locations in 23 countries. So the distribution network is strong. You could be in Spain doing business with people in Australia and anywhere in between. So if that sounds like something you're interested in and learning more about what it takes to succeed with something like this, join my group, Pure Path to Prosperity, and you can find the link in the description of this video. And yeah, so I've been just launched my first 2 webinars. I'm doing webinars in there where I am diving into this opportunity and sharing all about it, all the details, the kind of bird's eye view of that. So yeah, hope to see you on the inside.
Awesome. Awesome. So your question was comp plan.
Right. I mean, because if I'm having calls booked from a webinar where people, are learning all about what the character traits are of the leaders and they're resonating with that, but yet, and then they get on a call with me, but they don't really know what the opportunity is. And I don't want to have
Right.
to have like one-on-one webinars with each person on the sales call.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
So
I wonder if it's like, maybe it's a separate webinar. Maybe they watch a different webinar before they get on the call with me, or maybe I
yeah,
work it.
yeah. Just hold on. There are a few
Yep.
things you can do. Number one
Okay.
is
Yeah.
you're always going to adapt to feedback.
Yep.
So, like, try it and see what happens. But there are a couple ways you can handle this. The first thing I would do is I would record a separate video for the comp plan. If there are other, maybe you should record a separate video about the benefits of ionized water.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And put them on YouTube. Like, right?
Yep.
Like, do your best, make a video.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah. I
it's
mean,
10
I can
minutes
make a
long.
comp. What?
Maybe it's 10 minutes long.
Right. Yeah. I was just going to say I can make a comp plan video that's about 15 minutes long.
And you can give that to people after they register for the call
Okay. Yeah. I
on the
like that.
thank you page. You can adjust it so that the video is this. Hi, this is Eric. Now you're registered for the call. You're all scheduled in, but I need you to watch this video right now so that you're up to speed on how the comp plan works before we have our call.
Right.
Right. So we didn't go over, we didn't go over this in the webinar. We went over this at the end of the webinar, and I want to make sure that you have all the details that you need to make an informed decision when the time is right. Like, right. So I'm not saying don't tell them about the comp plan. I'm just saying make your webinar more useful.
Yeah, I feel that.
Right.
Yep.
More inspiring, more beneficial.
Something that they would request a replay for.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And also, remember, webinars can go as long as you want, Eric. You can always slap in all the other normal Kangen stuff at the end. And
right.
you can
it's
do
true.
another pitch for your call after the comp plan, and another pitch for the call after the health benefits of ionized water section. Like you can add on as many sections at the end as you want. So you're not bound to, like, you don't have to leave those out. I'm just saying don't make them the central focus.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess what I'm thinking about right now is I co-hosted a webinar with somebody in my upline a year or two ago, and I didn't know she was going to make it as long as she did. It wound up going for 2 hours, and I was a little bit like, oh my God, like nobody's going to sit through this. And then I realized I couldn't tell who was there. It just showed me, how many people were there. And I was like, there's still a couple of people here. And it turned out one of the people that was there for the entire thing was one of my leads. And I was like, whoever that is a solid lead. And they wound up buying a package through me it was like a $15,000 sale, which was pretty cool.
Yep.
Somebody that went through a 2-hour webinar.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Right.
Yeah. Good lesson, Eric.
Right. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, that's like, if people are interested, they're going to stick around.
Exactly.
Like they're going to set the time aside and they're going to focus in. Like one of the easiest ways to tell whether or not people are committed to the result that you're talking about in your webinar is whether they stick around to the end. If they don't stick around to the end, they're like half interested.
Yep.
Like, there you go.
Right.
Or you're really boring, right?
True.
Also a possibility. Cool. Well, on that note, we've been broadcasting hard for about an hour here. We didn't get at all into our plan, our get shit done master plan. So I guess we'll have to save that for tomorrow. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, let's do it tomorrow.
But I think we got a lot clearer on who you're really focused on. And so the main point about this with lead gen, dude, is that until you actually know who you're focused on.
Yeah, I can't attract the people. Right.
It's just like, you already know how to generate leads. Is you do a bunch of social media posts and you pay for ads and you drive to a funnel. You do social media posts and you pay for ads, and either way you drive to a funnel that hopefully makes you money immediately and books you sales calls in the process. That's what you do. And if it works well enough, then you run paid ads to it and you break even or make money on it. And if it doesn't work well enough, then you need to improve your copywriting and improve your funnel until it does work well enough. So whether you're driving traffic from TikTok by doing TikTok videos every day, or whether you're driving traffic by doing stories and reels, or whether you're driving traffic from doing YouTube videos, or whether you're driving traffic from live streaming, or whether you're driving traffic from podcasting, or whether buying solo email blasts, or whatever you're doing to drive traffic, you need to do that every single day. And then you need to explore more ways of driving traffic. Once you find one way that works, you need to expand that so you're not limited to the one way. And then basically you need to spend a couple hours every day driving traffic. And as your business grows, you'll hire people who will work part-time and then full-time every day to drive traffic. And those will generate the right type of leads because you know who you're focused on serving. And then you spend your time creating communication, content, products, all these types for that ideal audience that you're focused on growing and nurturing. your list, your community, your Facebook group, your team, what have you. And you do that every day. So you spend time and effort, energy, resources, and money every day driving traffic, and you spend time, effort, energy, resources, and money every day improving your funnel and doing your sales, and then you spend time, effort, and energy and money every day on providing the product or service that you sell. And those are the things that you do every day to generate leads. But yeah, if you don't know who the heck you're trying to actually bring into your business, it's just going to be a scattered shot approach, and good luck.
Sure. Yep.
I guess that sums it up. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, episode 37 in the can. Rock and roll. Thank you, Eric.
Yeah, thank you, Tellman.
And thank you to all of our faithful viewers. Really great to have you here. And thank you to our commenters, Liz and Rosemarie. Rosemarie coming in from LinkedIn. Awesome. I'm very curious, Rosemarie, to hear more about you and what you're working on now. And I think that's it for the day.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
You know what time it is, Eric?
It's time to get shit done.
It is. It's time to get shit done. All right, rock and roll. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.
See you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.